Let's call the roll.
Senator Spitzwater.
Here.
Schnelting.
Hey.
Brown. Gregory.
Here.
Schroer.
Here.
Washington.
Here.
Weber.
Quorum being established, I move that we go into executive session having a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. We're in executive session. All right. We're in executive session. I move that Senate Bill 358 be brought before the committee. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is before the committee. This bill was presented last week by Senator Schroer, and it creates the Freedom 13 organization license plate. Any discussion? All on the bill? Seeing none. Alyssa, call the roll. I'm sorry. I move that we do pass Senate Bill 358. Having a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Alyssa, call the roll.
Senator Spitzwater.
Aye.
Schnelting. Brown. Gregory. Schroer. Washington. Weber.
6-0. My vote is 6-0. You voted to pass Senate Bill 358. I now move that House Committee Substitute Number 2 for House Bill 495 be brought before the committee. I have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is before the committee. This bill was presented last week by Representative Christ. This bill addresses, it's the public safety bill, very similar to the Senate version. I think that we have a sub. I'm going to offer a sub here ending in .09C. There are technical changes by all our view, on my office's view. Senator Schroer is sitting here. He can explain the changes if anybody would like to hear those. But I think they try to mirror the House bill more closely with the Senate bill that's already been passed out of this committee. Any discussion on the Senate sub for Senate committee substitute, or for House committee substitute? All right. I move that we adopt the substitute. I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of adopting the substitute signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. You've adopted the substitute. I now move that we vote Senate committee substitute for House committee substitute number 2 for House Bill 495 to do pass. Do I have a second? Having a second, any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Senator Spitzwater.
Aye.
Schnelting. Brown. Gregory.
Aye.
Schroer.
Aye.
Washington.
No.
Weber.
No.
4-2. By your vote of 4-2, you voted do pass Senate committee substitute for House committee substitute number 2 for House Bill 495. Seeing no further business, I move that we go out of executive session. Having a second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We are out of executive session. We're going to go into our hearing, and we're going to go basically in order here. Senator Brattin's will probably go last. We have a very short hearing. We were only given 45 minutes because I came in late, so I apologize for that. Brattin's bill, I would assume, is why the vast majority of people are here, right? The drone bill. Is that? Raise your hand if you're here for the drone bill. Okay. They're not here for your bill, Senator. Sorry. Okay. Well, we're going to start with Senator Black. You want to pop up here? What's that? Oh, yeah. Senator Washington and Senator Black have similar bills. So you all proceed when you're ready. Okay. We'll do. Is Mary?
Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee. For the record, I'm Senator Barbara Ann Washington of Jackson County, District 9, and I'm here with my colleague to present both Senate Bills 422 and 504. They're very simple. It's just to designate a part of Interstate 70 as the Officer James Muhlbauer K-9 Officer Champ Memorial Bridge. We're here together because we both have an interest in this. This bridge is the bridge that crosses over Van Brunt Boulevard that is in Kansas City and Jackson County. I take it very often. And it's we have a witness that'll give us a little bit more information on both of them, but they lost their lives in 2023 as a result of a devastating crash near East Truman Road and Benton Boulevard. He was in the East Patrol, which used to be right off of Van Brunt, and we will let her talk about that. But we want to make sure that we are acknowledging and permanently recognizing those in our community, especially our public safety persons who have done great things, and this will serve as a lasting tribute to their bravery and ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty.
Thank you, Senator Washington, for allowing me to be part of this. I had a mutual friend that is friends with Ms. Muhlbauer's widow, and she contacted me, and the two of us have worked together on this. But again, thank Senator Washington for allowing somebody on Northwest Missouri to be a part of this. Thank you.
Any questions for the sponsors? Seeing none. Is anybody here to testify in favor of the bill? Come on up. Proceed when you're ready, and please leave a witness form for our records. Thanks for being with us today.
Good afternoon. My name is Monique Guerrero, and so I want to say thank you first and foremost to Senator Black and Senator Washington for supporting this bill. I also think it's necessary that I identify and recognize Mindy Bissett-Grape out of DOT, who was instrumental in making this happen, not only in helping me figure out how to get the bill worded, and also she did a lot of extensive research in identifying locations inside of Jackson County that were not designated already, allowing for us to be able to memorialize Officer James Malbert and his partner, Champ. Jim grew up in Nebraska. He was a 20-year vet of Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. He joined the department and served as soon as he turned 21 and was able to enter the academy. His partner, K9 Champ, not only was his partner, they are both credited with multiple awards and citations for their bravery in keeping the people of Jackson County, especially the East Patrol area, safe. I think it's also important to mention that his partner, K9 Champ, also lived with the family. So not only was there a loss of two police officers, a father, but for those of us that have pets at home and consider our animals to be like second children, their young son also lost his best friend in their dog, K9 Champ. It's important for me to do this simply because I am a product of an entire family that served with KCPD. I did not serve with the department. I chose to join the military instead and served 25 years in my country. I'm involved in this because I still bleed blue. I support KCPD, all law enforcement. I think it's important, as the senators mentioned, that we memorialize and recognize their service to our community. Thank you.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else here to testify in favor of the bills?
Jay Schroer with Missouri FOP. I just wanted to go on the record in support of Senate Bill 502 and 422. Agree.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Anybody else? Anybody else here to testify in favor? Anybody here to testify in opposition? Anybody at all? Anybody for informational purposes only? Seeing none, that'll conclude the hearing. Senators, thank you. Next up, we'll go Senator Schroer and Senator Coleman on Senate Bills 505 and 321. Is she in here? I think she may be out in the hall. It's time. Go ahead, Senator. You can get started.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For members of the committee, for the record, State Senator Nick Schroer, Senate District 2, presenting Senate Bill 500 today, the President Donald J. Trump Highway. This is a highway that is going to be paid by private donations, ensuring no burden on taxpayers. It's going to run through Highway D to T. I thought this was a perfect spot to put the President Donald J. Trump Memorial Highway as it connects D and T straight through Defiance, something that he has exemplified through his 2 different presidencies. During his first term, he championed policies that spurred economic growth, with unemployment reaching historic lows before the pandemic. He signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, putting more money back into Americans' pockets, and brokered historic Middle East peace deals like the Abraham Accords. His administration also prioritized energy independence, making the U.S. a net exporter of oil and gas. The man exemplifies peace through strength. And like I said before, I think it's fitting to have this road running through Defiance, somebody who was smeared, lied about, wrongfully impeached, wrongfully indicted, sued, nearly assassinated twice, and kept fighting to protect this nation and put us first and prioritize us once again. For that, I would thank you for the chance of presenting this bill today. I would ask for your vote on Senate Bill 500.
Thank you so much. My bill varies slightly from Senator Schroer's in that I'm proposing that we name every unnamed highway after Donald J. Trump. I'm happy to pare that back to align with Senator Schroer's. It would be only through private funding that would pay for the names on there. I have filed some version of this bill for very many years, actually back to 2020, and would love to see it get across the finish line. Thanks for your support.
Questions for the sponsors? Senator Washington, go ahead.
Hi, do we have any highways in our state named after any presidents? Maybe like Truman?
There are some streets that I know that are named after Obama, but I haven't looked at the research to see whether there are other highways named. Perhaps Senator Schroer has.
The same thing. I've seen many streets. I've seen. I actually lived on Bush Avenue. I don't know if that was.
But that isn't something that came from
It's
my
not.
gut, right?
But this is somebody 45th and 47th president is very unique, and I think that.
Like like Mr. Roosevelt or something like that, like he did too.
Well, this is the second president to serve non-consecutive terms, and I think comparing him, there are a lot of different things that he's gone through that others haven't, and others have gone through stuff that he hasn't. But look, if I'm open to modifying
Adding
Senate Bill
Mr. Truman
500
or something, since
Yeah.
he's from Missouri.
Absolutely,
All right, thank you.
Questions? Any other
maybe a
questions?
Barbara Washington highway.
I think Bishop Davidson Bridge was proposed in the House.
I think every bridge was Bishop Davidson Bridge.
Let's keep it on topic if we could.
What about a portion of Highway 20 through Saline and Lafayette County?
Senator Gregory, would you like to be recognized?
I'd just like to recognize that the senator and ask who wants a portion of Highway 20 through Saline and Lafayette County, maybe as Barbara Washington Memorial Highway.
Sounds like a consent bill.
We're well on our way, I think. Any other questions for the senators? Seeing none, anybody here testify in favor of the bills? Anybody here to testify in opposition to the bills? Anybody here for informational purposes only? That'll conclude the hearing. Thank you, senators. Senator May, you're up. On Senate Bill 192.
Hang on for me. Since it's not in my folder, I think I have it on my phone. We're on Senate Bill, I got two hearings, 192, right? Yes, okay. Oh, I have it on my phone, I'm fine. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and the members of the committee. I am Senator Carla May, representing the 4th Senatorial District, Senate Bill 192, a vital piece of legislation aimed at enhancing public safety and ensuring effective leadership within the City of St. Louis Sheriff's Office. This bill mandates that candidates for the office of sheriff in St. Louis City hold a valid peace officer license within 2 years prior to their election. Well, 2 years after the election, within 2 years after being elected. Ensuring that our sheriff has the necessary training and qualification is critical to maintaining public trust and effectively managing law enforcement operations. This requirement aligns with best practices in other jurisdictions and fosters accountability. Senate Bill 192 establishes a minimum salary of $50,000 for deputy sheriffs in St. Louis City. Competitive compensation is essential for attracting and retaining qualified personnel in law enforcement, especially in city facing unique challenges. This measure acknowledges the hard work and dedication of our deputies, ensuring they are compensated fairly for their service. The sheriff will have the authority to set compensation for deputy assistants, allowing for flexibility in managing the office budget and staffing needs. Empowering the sheriff to determine appropriate compensation enables better resource management and responsiveness to the needs of the department. By ensuring that the sheriff is properly qualified and that deputies are adequately compensated, we are investing in a more capable and motivated law enforcement team. Requiring a peace officer license promotes high standards of accountability and professionalism within the sheriff's office. A well-qualified sheriff and well-compensated deputies can foster greater community trust and cooperation, essential for an effective office. Senate Bill 192 represents significant step forward in strengthening the St. Louis City Sheriff's Office. And I'll be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for the senator? Seeing none. Anybody here to testify in favor of Senate Bill 192? Anybody here to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 192? Anybody here for informational purposes only? Seeing none. Senator, any closing remarks?
No, thank you for the opportunity to hear the bill.
Thank you, Senator. All right, Senator Brattin, you're up. Senate Bill 296.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Senator Rick Brattin, 31st Senatorial District, Cass, Bates, and Johnson County, bringing forth before the committee Senate Bill 296. What this, basically the crux of what this bill would do, it would ban for future purposes the purchase of Chinese-made drones from our law enforcement. This would ensure that what I believe, what we're seeing with all these sorts of devices and what we've seen from the Republic of China is that this is basically the modern day Trojan horse to be able to utilize this technology, this sort of software in use with and by our own forces to utilize against our country. And I understand that there's a hesitancy to want to make this move, this shift to going towards American-made product. That's why I know it's more costly. That's why with this this bill, we've put forth a grant program through the Department of Public Safety to help offset that cost when they go to repurchase this technology. But I believe it's worth it. The Department of Defense has made this executive order, this line in the sand that they're no longer going to allow their unmanned aircraft to also be made by China. And I think this is just a good move for our national sovereignty and security. And, you know, that's the crux of this bill. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for the sponsor? Seeing none. Anybody here to testify in favor of Senate Bill 296?
Committee,
Neil English on behalf of State Shield, which is a national non-for-profit group that is interested in trying to bring awareness to some of these adversarial countries infiltrating our states. And we just want to go on record in sponsoring, while recognizing some of the issues that Senator presented that are concerns of law enforcement. We would understand some path or runway to modify or to phase out some of these drones that are potentially compromised, and some financial mechanisms to fill in that shortfall. But we would point out that Director Wray, on his way out, did testify before Congress and said that these drones are in fact compromised. And so we would just like to bring that to the attention of the committee. Thank you.
Questions for this witness? Senator Washington, go
Hi,
ahead.
sorry, can you identify yourself again and who you're with?
Yeah, Neil English on behalf of State Shield, which is a national non-for-profit group that is trying to bring awareness to just some of the anti-China issues that are penetrating the various states.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Anybody else here to testify in favor?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. For the record, James Harris, registered lobbyist representing State Armor Action, to testify in support. This is a needed discussion. For about 7 or 8 years, national security advisors or authorities have been concerned about the threat of Chinese drones. It started in 2017 when ICE, out of their LA office, kind of released a report stating they had moderate confidence that DJI drones were, quote, providing U.S. critical infrastructure and law enforcement data to the Chinese government. That same year, the U.S. Army called for all forces to stop using DJI drones. However, we've had over the last 6 or 7 years kind of a flood of Chinese drones in the U.S., and that's by design. The Chinese government looks to become a dominant provider of critical technologies that have both civil and military applications to make their adversaries dependent on those technologies. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency and the FBI have said that these firms, they're concerned about them accessing and controlling data because of national laws in China that have allowed the Chinese government to access companies' data. If you fast forward, the U.S. Defense Department has classified both DJI and Autel drones as military companies. Now, that's pretty significant. Military companies under the Section 1260H. In 2021, DoD declared these DJI drones pose potential threats to national security. 2 months ago, both CISA and the FBI warned that Chinese drones pose now a significant risk. So if you think about it, we started with moderate, then it was pose potential, now it's significant risk. And this is, if you look at the federal level, bipartisan. Mark Warner, the former chairman of the Intelligence Committee, kind of was expressing a lot of these concerns. So you've got both the U.S. military and the FBI have now banned these drones, and states are now acting. I think about 4 states so far have kind of banned Chinese drones. Last fall, Congress kind of had a discussion. It ultimately didn't pass. So we would say with the federal government's acting, they're trying to send signals. States have been ignoring that. I think people want to say that American drones suck and Chinese drones are significant. What I would say in this country, whenever we put our manufacturing will to something other than French and Italian wine, I would say we make the best. I was trying to get a laugh for that. But with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Harris? Seeing none.
Thank you.
Anybody else here to testify? And we have like 19 minutes left before they literally kick us out of this room. So anybody else here to testify in favor of this bill? Seeing none. If you can keep testimony, those opposed, just concise. Please don't repeat a lot of the testimony you hear before you. But anybody here to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 296, go ahead and hop up here, and we're gonna have to keep the time limit pretty strict. Thank you all for understanding.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, committee members. My name is John Yaste. I'm a nationally recognized expert in public safety drone operations. I serve as an executive steering member of the National Law Enforcement Drone Association. I'm also the Chief Information Security Officer and Chief UAS Pilot for the St. Charles County Ambulance District, the commander of the St. Charles County Police Department's Aerial Intelligence Unit, and the tactical drone operator for the St. Charles County Regional SWAT Team. Public safety teams across Missouri strongly oppose this bill. This is not about data security. It is about lobbying efforts by domestic drone manufacturers aiming to ban non-U.S. drones for financial gain. Instead of innovating to meet public safety needs, these companies push restrictive legislation that benefits them at the expense of first responders. Their drones are more expensive, less capable, and fail to meet operational demands. Over 90% of Missouri public safety agencies rely on drones that this bill seeks to ban. If passed, it would drastically reduce life-saving successes. U.S.-made drones are made up to 10 times more expensive. A minority of agencies in Missouri own U.S.-made drones. However, I have yet to meet an agency that purchased them by choice, believing they were superior. And none of those agencies have testified in support of any of these bills, mainly because of the repeated failures they experience. In Herman, Missouri, when a barricaded suspect shot 2 officers, one fatally, U.S.-made drones failed. Our St. Charles County team was called in, not just for our interior expertise, but because our drones were more capable and more reliable. DJI is the primary target of this bill, despite its proven security with NIST FIPS cybersecurity certification. Additionally, DJI's local data mode blocks outbound data transmission. These drones operate fully offline, a standard of practice most public safety agencies practice, flying disconnected from the internet, avoiding software updates on agency networks, and using third-party air-gapped piloting applications. If DJI drones posed a true security risk, federal agencies would not allow them. Yet, in January of this year, I was part of a UAS task force in Washington, D.C., supporting the U.S. presidential inauguration, one of the highest security risk events in the country. Federal agencies actively flew DJI drones for several days as part of security operations. If these drones were a security risk, they would not have been allowed. Let that sink in. This bill is highly restrictive, allowing only drones from blue or green list. The blue list is developed and designed for DoD, not public safety use. One could reasonably infer. In conclusion, let's focus on data security, not eliminating market and competition with baseless bans. There's no evidence of DJI drones compromising national security. When U.S. manufacturers do produce capable, reliable drones, public safety agencies will be the first to adopt them. For this reason, I strongly urge the committee to reject Senate Bill 296 as written and instead support policies that enhance public safety without unnecessary competition restrictions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Questions for this witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Anybody else here to testify in opposition? Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I'm Chief Kurt Frizz, St. Charles County Police Department. I'm on the executive committee for the Missouri Police Chiefs Association and the Law Enforcement Legislative Coalition. And I'd like to say my department operates over 20 drones, and they're all DJI, and they all have different sizes, different capabilities. I'd like to give one quick example of one mission, but we have multiple missions. I could brag all day long about the success and how they're keeping officers safe and the public safe. But last year we had a barricaded murder suspect in a house, armed and barricaded. And we were able to breach the door, send one of our robots in on the ground and fly a drone in. And we got eyes on real quick. In the past, we'd have to send officers in and probably force a confrontation. With the drone capability giving us visual and the robot capabilities on the ground, we were able to get the suspect to surrender to the drone and the robot, and talk him out and surrender to us and get a compliant surrender. That's the ultimate win. We're doing that almost daily now with this drone technology, that with an American-made drone and the micro drones that we're able to fly in the buildings, like the previous witness said when we did that in Herman, what I see every day on the cameras that they do, the success stories, we're keeping officers safe and we're keeping the public safe. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Seeing none. Anybody else here to testify in opposition?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you, our committee, thank you. Eric Schmidt, Chief of Police in Branson, Missouri, echoing many of the same comments. Just want to say that we have approximately $45,000 invested in our drone program, saved many, many lives, to include finding a suspect that shot a Forsyth officer last year and was laying in wait for other officers in a dark field, located him, and we were able to send a canine in and apprehend him safely. Another SWAT call out, same thing, interior drone that other companies could not compete with, found a suspect hiding inside an outbuilding, allowed us to get him out safely without us risking our personnel. When we went through the process to purchase our drones, we did invite the leading American company to come down and present their equipment to us. It wasn't even close, did not compare for 10 times the price, didn't do what we needed it to do. In addition, we also follow those same best practices, offline flight, SD card uploads, and firmware updates through servers that don't allow them to access our city infrastructure. Quite honestly, when I read this bill, even the grant funding replacing basically the value of the drones and with what this would buy would not suffice, and would force communities to choose either to violate the law in order to save lives or not be able to participate. And so we are in opposition, and quite honestly, we follow the rules. Our 107 pilots are doing everything that we can to protect the country, and private pilots don't follow those same rules. So we would very much advocate against. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Seeing none. Next, in opposition.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, the committee. My name is John Barton. I'm the Fire Chief of High Ridge Fire District in Jefferson County, Missouri. I've been a first responder for 25 years. I also have a history in information technology and worked up until 2019 as a senior security engineer for a national company. So I look at this from both a first responder and a security perspective. I won't reiterate some of the stuff, examples. I won't give you my examples of individual rescues that we have, but I would like to give you some context on what would happen if the Chinese drones are banned. It's true at the federal level that many agencies have limited the purchase of the drones, but I'd like to refer to a report from the U.S. Government Accountability Office dated September 2024 regarding one such restriction imposed by the Department of Interior. In January 2020, they prohibited the procurement and non-emergency use of drones manufactured by companies including China. In May of 2021, Interior completed a review of its drone program and concluded that the Interior security strategy sufficiently mitigated potential risks posed by the non-compliant drones. They also found that the environment in which the department uses its drones is overall low security risk because the lands are largely accessible to the public and removed from areas of national security interest. This is also the case of my fire district. We don't fly over nuclear power plants or military bases. We're flying over areas of the county that are just as visible from Google Maps. Some of the challenges that they face, the increased cost of compliant drones. The average spend on a commercial drone by the Department of Interior average to $2023 was $2,600. That same year, in fiscal year 23, the compliant drones cost $15,000. They had significant delays in receiving drones, technology capability issues, reliability issues, et cetera. And in October of 2022, they issued a memorandum citing its review and revising the policy to allow bureaus to resume flying non-compliant drones. The other thing I'd like to call out to the committee is just to make sure that we're specifying the difference between hardware and software. So if anybody has an Apple iPhone, Apple has told everyone publicly that 90 to 95% of its hardware is manufactured in China. But the software that runs on top of that hardware is made by an American company. Apple's based in Cupertino, California. The same can be said for these drones. The hardware is manufactured in China. That's true. However, we do not use the software released by the Chinese drone manufacturer to fly our drones. We use a software called DroneSense, which is founded and operated by a company out of Texas. Finally, I'm just going to conclude and say that there is no doubt that drones save lives. Right now, foreign-made drones are saving American lives. When technology and funding allow, we would gladly prioritize purchasing American hardware over Chinese hardware. But right now, passing legislation that would ground the drone fleet that we have only severely limits our mission of life safety. Thank you.
Questions? Seeing none, how many more are here to testify in opposition? You raise your hands real quick. All right, we have 10 minutes, so it's going to have to be 1 minute apiece. Go ahead and hop up here, and we're going to have to cut off pretty quick.
Mr. Chairman, committee member Tom Rackers, representing Boone County Fire Protection District, Missouri Task Force 1. We'd like to go on record in opposition to this legislation.
Okay, thank you. Next, in opposition.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Les Cruz. I'm the Assistant Chief of the Monarch Fire Protection District, which is located in West St. Louis County, covering the largest portions of Baldwin, Chesterfield, Clarkson Valley, Creve Coeur, Maryland Heights, Wildwood, and unincorporated St. Louis County. Population 60,000. In addition to that response area, we also provide services through the statewide mutual aid system, which means we can pretty much go anywhere in the state if that was requested. As a lifelong citizen of the state of Missouri and serving 50-plus years as a firefighter, I'm here today in opposition to Senate Bill 296. I'm not a cybersecurity expert like some of the other gentlemen who are here to testify before you today. I come with a common sense approach to address the concerns by those working against public safety responders and the use of our drones. The proposed legislation would restrict, ban our use of drones, and will take away these life-saving tools, causing a greater risk to our first responders and the citizens we protect and serve. This bill clearly is unfair to the public safety agencies. I think everybody here today, like I said before, if there was an American-made drone that could give us the same capabilities that we have today, we would take a good look at those. Currently, there are no American-made drones that offer the first responders with the same capability, reliability, and affordability compared to the drones we are using today.
Thank you, sir.
Pardon me?
Thank you. I'm sorry. We've got a handful of others, and if you have written testimony, you can send it to us. We'll get it out to all the committee members too. Make sure they have access to it. Really quick.
Can I make one final statement? This bill undermines policy safety operations by restricting access to critical life-saving technology without providing viable, cost-effective alternatives. The broad and unfounded cybersecurity claims fail to acknowledge the rigorous safety measures in place and security measures in place, and the financial burdens placed on the agencies would severely hinder their abilities to protect our communities.
Okay.
One final comment, please.
And a lot of these comments have been repeated, so just, no offense, thank you for being here. I appreciate your service.
I have some information that they have not provided one verifiable fact that proves anything that they said is true, that the Chinese are stealing our information. I have some documented information here, and I would ask that you please take the time that will counter that says there are no data leakages.
You send it to us, and we'll get it to the committee. Thank you, sir. Next, in opposition. And if you have similar comments, written testimony, you can hand it in. We'll get it to everybody. We are running real tight.
Yep, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my name is Matt Moore. I'm with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, and just want to go on record saying that we oppose this legislation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, in opposition.
I yield to you, Chief.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I'm Matt Pagano. I'm the Fire Chief of the Maryland Heights Fire Protection District, and I also represent the St. Louis County Special Operations Division, which is a hazmat team and the Urban Search and Rescue Team, Task Force 3 out of St. Louis. We are strongly in opposition to this.
Okay, questions? Seeing none. Thank you for your testimony. Next, in opposition.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Mark Scornia. I'm the Assistant Fire Chief of the Washington, Missouri Fire Department. I'm a member of our drone team, and we are also a member of the Regency drone team of the St. Louis area, to which Chief Cruz referred, and we speak in opposition of this bill.
Great, thank you. Next, in opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Rebecca Eichelberger. I'd just like to go on record in opposition to the bill for the Missouri Association of Municipal Utilities. Thanks.
Questions? Seeing none. Next, in opposition.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Tyler Grosser from Kansas City, Missouri Fire Department, speaking in opposition on behalf of the fire department and the city of Kansas City, Missouri.
Great. Questions? Seeing none. Thanks for driving all the way over here. Anybody else to testify in opposition? Go ahead. Hop up here.
30 seconds or less, or your next one's free.
Sergeant John Klein, Pettis County Sheriff's Office. I'm here representing the Sheriff's Office, also in opposition to this bill. And I'll just throw out, if American-made drone manufacturers will step up to the plate, there's not a drone pilot here or administrator here that will not line up around the block to buy those drones when they catch up to where we need them to be. Thank you.
Questions? Seeing none. Anybody else to testify in opposition?
Mr. Chairman, Shannon Cooper today representing the City of Kansas City on behalf of our fire and police. We just want to go on record in opposition to the bill. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Shannon. Questions? Seeing none.
Thank you.
Next in opposition.
Mr. Chairman, Chris Ropey here on behalf of the City of Independence, on behalf of our police department, fire department, and our public utility. We are in opposition.
Questions? Seeing none. Next in opposition.
Sheriff Chris Edgar, Camden County. I just wanted to say we are in opposition to this, and if the United States would develop a drone that is comparable or superior than DJI, we would gladly support that. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Seeing none. Anybody else testify in opposition?
I'm Tom Davis, Deputy and the Drone Program Manager for Cape Girardeau County in Jackson, Missouri. Just wanted to come up here and say that I strongly oppose this bill.
Okay. Questions? Seeing none. Thank you for your testimony. Also, just really quick, for our records, everybody who testifies, if you actually wanted to go on record, you need to fill out a witness form. You can get them up here at the table. Just make sure we have them. Thank you. Questions? Seeing none. Anybody else to testify in opposition? Last chance. Anybody else for informational purposes only? Seeing none, that'll conclude the hearing. Senator Brattin, any closing remarks?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would just like to point out we had TikTok that literally is collecting all information on Americans. We had a Chinese balloon that literally flew over the state of Missouri. The Chinese literally, with all of their cranes, took over all of the United States ports and had an espionage type of ring going on that they tracked and logged every single thing that came in the U.S. ports. And I just find it to be a travesty that the Department of Defense, FBI, have utilized American-made everything since 1941, at least DOD. And here we are with all our law enforcement coming out against wanting to go towards American-made products, especially when an enemy has shown that they want nothing more than to collect data in every apparatus of life. And that's why they sell these things on such a cheap rate, is to ensure everybody gets sucked in to the want and desire to be a willing participant in that espionage. So I hope we can move something like this forward for our national security, because they've clearly made it a point to suck everybody into their sort of apparatus that they have going on. And it's unfortunate to have this many that testify against a bill like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. That'll conclude the hearing on Senate Bill 296. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Having a second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We are adjourned.